Now, as we all know, it is the people who make an organization, and the next three people on stage are leaders who have been with us the longest and have contributed significantly to our growth. It's my privilege to invite on stage our first speaker, that's Shobha Raghavan, Chief Operating Officer, who strategizes the overall operations at Saahas Zero Waste and has been the driving force behind adoption of technology across the board for business operations. She is constantly on the lookout for opportunities to scale business, and of course, God help anyone who sits across her for negotiations. A little bit that we would like to know on her not so professional side is the love for sweets. Ask us about it. Cricket and classical music. And nobody can beat her for the acronyms that she comes up at work. I'm going to give her one, and I hope I'll be successful. OTYS.
Good evening, all of you. Really excited to see all of you here, and I think we have been preparing very hard to put up a fairly good show today. You must have seen this in our tagline, a regenerative system for one earth. I will need to use my phone by permission. You're okay if I can use my phone, right? So I can't read Kannada, but I can speak Kannada. The translation to what's put up in English is Iruvudu Onde Bhumige Punarad Jivika Vyavaste. Ek Prithvi ke liye Punaryoji Pranali. And what does regenerative economy mean in short? It means decoupling growth from the consumption of finite resources. So quickly, I would like to take you through what did we do with the people indicator of impact? What did we do to the planet indicator for impact? So if you see the top, we have had 1,100 odd employees in Saahas Zero Waste in the last 10 years. People who have come in, been with us, many of you are still with us, but 1,100 people have really come and tried to work in the space of waste management with us across genders and across age groups and different types of qualification. If you look at this, in the last financial year, we have been working with 250 odd vendors or suppliers across 23 states. We have been working with 140 odd material processing partners / recyclers across 20 states. We have had 120 odd clients working on a service fee model across 22 states. And our average median salary to the highest salary ratio has been 1:8, as against some really, I don't want to use the wrong word, but really astonishing words, ratios across different industries, something in the range 1:400, 1:500, whereas we're at 1:8. And we're proud of this number. We have been very conscious working on this number, but I think this is what we believe we do for our people and employees. So quickly, if you look at this ratio here, this entire graph is about how we have grown in our field staff from the year 2014 to the current year. Our team has been the field staff and our executive team. And what has been our gender ratio in the last 10 years? So quickly to summarize this graph, we have had we started with 91% field staff, and today we are at 66% field staff. We started with 89% female, and today we are at 62% female. And what did we do with the planet? 150,000 metric tons of waste have been managed in the last 10 years. And all of this 59% has been post-consumer plastic, which is the most difficult kind of plastic to manage, all coming from different types of residential communities and tech parks and corporates coming into this waste stream for sorting into different categories and then going for processing. Then has been our zero waste projects, which is 25% of the waste managed, which is largely wet waste and dry waste. Then has been our e-waste, which is again post-consumer e-waste, or what we call end-of-life e-waste, which has been 8%. MRF has been 7%, and a small ratio towards products and circular textiles. And if you see, in the last year, we've been able to achieve 98% diversion from landfill. And this means a lot of effort sorting the waste into different categories. And we don't segregate waste, we only sort waste. Segregation is the responsibility of the generator of waste, and we are very mindful that we give the right awareness for segregation and only focus on sorting for resource recovery. I will give it to my colleague, Kanika, to tell you what happened to our profits in the last 10 years.
Thanks, Shobha.
I think Kanika has been one of the backbones of the organization, and she's been with us for over 10 years now. She's the Associate Director and Lead Finance. Kanika has worked in the development sector for over 20 years, and she's been the backbone, as I already mentioned, for finance and accounts at Saahas Zero Waste. She keeps us in check with our numbers and projections. Yes, she's a tough nut to crack. And when she's not heading finance department, any guesses what she does?
Cooking foods.
No, she doesn't steal. Then I'll be partner in crime with her. No. She can be found gardening, which she is very passionate about. And of course, the beautiful offices that we live in, the real estate. And if you ask in MCH's layout, she knows which house is vacant. Okay, so that's what she loves to do, and that's how we have a beautiful office that we live in.
Thank you, Tanuja. Okay. So let me start with the numbers. So to start with, we had a transition period in 2013-14, and we started 14-15 full-fledged business in Saahas Waste Management Private Limited. And we started with 2 CR of a business in 14-15, and we closed the books with 89 crores in 22-23. And we look forward to have an organic growth of 30% year on year going forward in the next 2 years. And coming to profits, out of 10 years, say 5 years we were at a loss, and it is only in 1920 we had a profit, and that was very 0.1% profit. And what did we do during that loss period? We did get support from the investment to run the company with cash flows, and what happened after that is something very special. And in the year 21-22, we did have 2% of a profit. What is very special for us that year is paying performance incentive to entire field staff. That is something very special for us. And yeah, that we had a similar profit in this last financial year also, and we still continue to pay the performance incentive to our entire field staff. And we look forward to have 3 to 5% profit in the next financial year 23-24 and 24-25. Yeah, that's it with the numbers, and we'll go to the next slide. This is time for us to tell thanks to everybody who have been part with us and who have been supporting us all these 10 years. And special thanks to Gopal Krishnan sir, who's been mentoring us from 2015, and he's been very tough with us. And we could not skip one P&L meeting, one dashboard meeting. That is really tough. And next, coming to Satwa team, Krishna and Lakshmi for during the initial period of our VCFO support. And Karthikeyan from Abidance, he was also been our VCFO and CS support. And Gautama and co, Harsha is here. Thank you, Harsha. You have been very tough auditor, and Pratyusha, who's been very tight auditor. And next, IAN, I3N, and C4D investors who believed in our vision, mission, and investing in us. And Syndicate Bank for starting with us, giving us first overdraft facility, and Ananya giving us non-collateral business loan, and ICICI Bank for giving us a first business opportunity, our banking financial opportunity. Yeah, and a special thanks to all our vendors who are bearing with us during our critical time and giving us time to pay them. Thank you so much.
Next, I would like to invite Arun, Vice President and Sales and Marketing, on the stage. Just a little bit about Arun. First, the professional stuff. Arun has over 15 years of experience in the waste sector, both in India as well as United Kingdom. He has been instrumental in setting up Saahas Zero Waste, one of its kind material recovery facility, and also the business vertical related to extended producer responsibility for plastic waste. The not so professional side, he's also our in-house sports person, rock star, and the life of all Saahas Zero parties and get-togethers. Also, he's often been the sole male representative in our all-women leadership team as well. Now the ratio is getting better, but he's been there with all of us and stood strong. So over to you, Arun.
Bearing with us, is it, Arun?
Actually, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you, everyone. Today I've got something very interesting and something that we've been developing over the past 4 to 5 years, I would say. We've all seen the journey of Saahas Zero Waste, how it has evolved, but something very unique about the organization is that right from day one, the core values have been in such a way that we've been completely formal in the way we've approached and compliant in the way we've approached. And as we started diversifying with our business, this is where we came across a lot of opportunities through reverse logistics systems, where we started engaging with the informal sector. And when we started engaging with the informal sector, we realized a need for inclusion. And I think this image really sums up the concept of inclusion at our organization. The team around social inclusion, we're calling it the Let's Transform initiative, and the team around social inclusion just does that. One part of our supply chain, which is now going to be called as sustainable procurement policies and responsible sourcing initiatives. This is a global concept which is really picking up. So you can see here in terms of how we look at inclusion rather than exclusion, integration, etc. And I think this speaks 1,000 words, this image. So moving on to the next slide, I'd like to run you through some of the milestones that we have achieved going forward. So back in 2019, we were first of its kind to actually start this social inclusion program along with an EPR reverse logistics systems through our first client, which was Asian Paints. I'll just go through the very fundamental concept around this entire milestone that you're seeing. We want to actually involve and integrate include the informal sector in 3 main contexts. The first context is obviously in terms of the infrastructure. Infrastructure is very poor, especially in the informal sector, be it equipment, be it health and safety, be it fire extinguishers, etc. So that's one component we look at. The second component we look at is capacity building. Capacity building, we've already seen that there's a big gap in terms of how waste is managed, the technicalities of it, responsible waste management practices, etc. Not just that, compliances from labor perspective, no child labor, compliances from environmental perspective as well, the full-blown version. And finally, the third function would be around business models. We've spoken about business models. How can we create business models to be able to have a very inclusive system such that it can keep going by itself? So you can see over here in terms of the timelines, use this mic. In terms of the timelines, 2020, we've actually had a couple of entrepreneurs. In fact, we have some entrepreneur members as part of this group as well. Would love for you to talk to them and actually get a good feedback from them in terms of how we've been able to improve our model as we speak. And 2021 was a fantastic year for us where we started looking at larger projects, MRFs, PRFs, plastic recovery facility, etc. And 2022 as well has started off in a very nice way. So today, we stand here with a lot of confidence saying that we now have good visibility on how to integrate the entire supply chain. And going forward, our end game, the next slide please. Going forward, the end game is why do we have waste pickers being called waste pickers? We want to professionalize the entire ecosystem. If you go to a developed country today, you will not see waste pickers, right? I mean, it exists in a very different way. So we're trying to actually professionalize, and this is today a platform for us where we have everyone from the ecosystem, more or less, where we are sending out an appeal for more alliances, for more partnership. Saahas Zero Waste going forward will look at end-to-end supply chain with a lot of collaboration with already successful models. And of course, we will be fitting in very neatly into what we do very well, which is professionalization and moving waste pickers, informal sector, into an entrepreneur mode. And I would like to end there. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank Amit Bhatia and Aspire Impact. What we showed you now is a lot of our impact numbers. And before last 3 years, we would say that we have been working on around 30 impact indicators. And this year, we collaborated with Aspire Impact and shared our 22-23 numbers. They actually made us go deeper and expand further to almost 120 type of indicators, impact indicators. And it's a great learning for an industry like for us as an organization. And I think we are trying to create newer benchmarks in the waste management industry. Thank you, Amit Bhatia, for this great work that you've done with us. I would also like to thank and call out our emerging leaders whom we have not yet seen. And a lot of the leaders have been on stage, but here is our next rung of leaders. A lot of effort has gone in developing these people also. These are the youth of our organization and our emerging leaders. Can I call you all on stage? Rohan, who manages e-waste. And big round of applause for everyone. Shubhra, who manages zero waste operations. Please come on stage. Sara, who's managing HR. Shweta, who represents our sales from NCR. Varsha, who represents sales from NCR. Some of them might not be so young or maybe as young as me, but you're still there. Sayuja, who's managing our EPR, social inclusion projects. Ritesh, who's managing EPR. Kritika, who manages our marketing. Asta, who looks after our products and CT, circular textiles. Murthy, who manages our material recovery facility. I hope I have not missed anyone. No. I told you young. I said you young. And that's our big round of, the stage is not enough for these emerging leaders. Look at them. And they are also equal pillars for the organization. A big round of applause for them for bravely being with us. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
thought we'll have a small Q&A. There were lots of numbers, lots of details there. So we have kept the floor open for a few questions. So feel free to ask anything that you would want to Arun, Kanika, and Shobha. So if you could just raise your hand and yes, Shaji, do you want a question? No questions to the audience. We are all open to questions.
That's a good idea. We'll flip it.
Oh, really?
Let's do the attentive audience.
But there are ushers with the mics. If you can just raise your hand and they'll be happy to pass on the mics to you guys.
Was said about the impact on the planet, which is obvious, and also something about the social impact through employment of people. These two were explained well. I wonder if you can dwell on the impact you have made, the indirect impact on social aspect on the people through awareness, through a whole ecosystem, so that the housekeeping staff and the people, including rag pickers and others, don't handle hazardous waste, and the large impact you have made, which is difficult to quantify, and how waste management and everything became more manageable, more organized, such that the harm to health, to safety, and even the human impact in the sense of human rights, if I can say, you have made on that aspect of the whole ecosystem and the society.
Yeah, our zero waste program with our corporates. If you know, most corporates do not segregate waste at source, and they have been giving to informal sector. When we enter the campus, we ensure that we train them for segregation at source. When we say train, we engage with the employees of the tech park or corporate. We ensure they understand the segregation at source because they are generating waste at different points. We also train the facility teams so that they also align with their infrastructure for collection of segregated waste. And we also we tell our customers to empower the housekeeping team to not pick up mixed waste. So what ends up in our infrastructure within the campus is very well segregated waste. At least I would say 80 to 90% is segregated. This kind of engagement with the employees of the campus and the housekeeping team actually is an extended part of our program and inclusive. And this is the only thing that helps make our program a success. So we've had corporate customers who are with us for the last 7 to 8 years. And this is the value they also see, that that engaging their employees and including them in the process is very important. With respect to rag pickers and the informal sector, I'll ask Arun to just add a few points on what they have done through SI.
So like you saw, the journey of what we call the Let's Transform initiative, it's taken us many years to really understand the ground realities. And today we stand at a place where we have a very comprehensive solution around what are all the various interventions from a capacity building perspective for the waste workers, not just the waste workers, but also to bring on board more entrepreneurs. Like I said, we have quite a few members. I can just see a few members from Udupi, from Bangalore, Coimbatore, etc. And they would be a true testament, and I can introduce you to them. But what we do is we have a very technical approach. You may not be aware of this, but today mental health could be a very big issue. We never realized that. And these are all things that we're stumbling upon. We have issues around, a lot of problems around working capital. So capacity building around working capital is something that we're working on as well. So we're actually having a very holistic view at this, and capacity building team. So first of all, our capacity building team are getting trained themselves, and they're getting to know more. That's the start. And then we go out and we actually do a train the trainer approach. But going forward, we are now very, very clear on how we want to approach this. We want to look at it end to end. We have been working in pockets. Now we want to work end to end. And that is where I told you earlier that there are experts out there who are very good at capacity building. And we want to bring large mega projects around impact and social inclusion in collaboration with everyone. So this is what we're doing. And this is going forward into the future in that context.
Hi team, good to see everyone again, and congratulations on 10 years. My question is, when I used to work with Saahas, we were active in Bangalore, Chennai, and Goa, and in the years that I followed, you all have expanded to so many cities. Which market was the toughest to crack, and how did you all overcome that and establish yourselves there?
I think the first is always the toughest. So Bangalore, I think Vilma had already put her efforts over there. For us, it was just replicating this. But then we realized that it's not so easy because our success in a particular city really depends on the ecosystem. We have some really wonderful people over here who are part of the Bangalore ecosystem. Ramakant sir is sitting here, and we have people from SWMRT. They are really active citizens, and they are helped whatever level Bangalore is today. I think they have really been key enablers to it. So Hyderabad and Chennai have been difficult because of existing people working in the space of waste to energy or mixed waste or do not believe in circular economy. So I think while our business model is scalable and replicable, our success in a particular city depends on the ecosystem also. And existing players, the alignment of the government, the recyclers ecosystem, all of that actually matters. So we've not been able to do as we expected in Chennai. Hyderabad is definitely doing better, but we are also going to try put our efforts in NCR, which is also difficult, but we are saying, well, let's go for it because we are Saahas and we believe we have to take the challenge. Thank you, Maithili.
Just like to add a very quick, a different dimension to that as well. The way we've looked at waste management, if you don't look at it from consumer to product, cradle to cradle, becomes very difficult. And that's why vertical integration is so important. And if you can look at geographies, waste management is defined by how easy it is to actually recover resources. It actually stems from there. And of course, government policies and stuff. So if you look at it from that lens, there are pockets of India where it can be a bit more quicker to have quicker impact. So we've actually realized that as well going forward. So while we look at geographies that way, we can also look at geographies from a very framework perspective of government policies and the supply chain, etc. So that's another factor that we've learned and we want to add to that as well.
And I see Somu here from Carbon Masters. He has set up this biogas plant in Bangalore, because of which we go all after all our customers, corporate customers, and say, we have a destination for your food waste. But Somu, we are not able to find a similar guy in other, similar entrepreneur in other cities, and we're struggling. So either you do it, you ask your investors to put more money, Naga is an investor, but we are struggling. So that's the answer, Maithili. So if you talk to Somu separately on dinner, we will get an answer to you.
Hello. Yeah. Hi. And congratulations to the Saahas team. It's a very inspiring journey. The numbers speak for themselves. But I was just curious to know what it was like when the pandemic hit. How did you manage to stay afloat when even basic facilities, basic things like waste management also had to take a back seat with the shutdown? And just curious. Would like to hear from the team. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting question. Even now the corporate guys are working from home. And we worked 365 days during 2 years of the pandemic. And thanks to that team, all the field team who continue to come every day during the first wave, the second wave, and subsequent waves. In fact, the goodwill that we had earned from our corporates, because there was no public transport also, and a lot of them are coming from extreme south, like Mysuru, and many are coming from Bangarpet, and they used to take trains to reach our facilities, the hub of Bellandur and Whitefield and such places. Our customers would provide bus transport, support with bus transport, so that they are coming into work. Even if there was 2 kg of waste, as against 1 ton before pandemic, they would still expect these people to come and help them with the 2 kgs of waste. So that's the support we got from our partners, number one. Number two, yes, it was a ghost town, right? All the corporates were a ghost town. And our entire model was we will get our entire MRF was getting feed from the corporates, 10 tons of waste per day. And these guys were saying we have to expand MRF, and just then the COVID hit us. And MRF was not getting any waste. And if we don't get waste, again, we were actually at losses at the MRF. So it was a challenging time for us. But I think our partners, the corporates, our field staff, and I think and the loss also that we incurred, our investors also supported the loss that we had. It was a difficult time, I would say. But we recovered after I think second year we recovered, right?
Thing is, none of our clients withdrawn their POs, which was given to us during that period. And that is something very nice for us. And we did not remove any field staff or executive team from our roles also during that period.
Thanks for that question. Actually, we can add a few more key differentiators of the model that we work with at Saahas Zero Waste. We heard that, none of the field staff had any pay cuts during that period of time. Newspapers are all talking about reverse migration. We did not have even 1% reverse migration. Newspapers were talking about health issues, etc. Some of the staff who were actually affected by COVID got treated through ESI. So these fundamentals of the model that, thanks to Wilma, that's been ingrained in our genes, saved the day for us during the pandemic. And not just that, we were able to pivot as well. During tough times, we have to get tough. And that is where the MRF also evolved into multiple business models. Today, it's quite a complex model, and we've seen it all kind of a thing. And like we spoke, the MRF also was able to break even without any waste for almost like 4-5 months. So these were all, we were able to identify a lot of USPs as well in that period of time. Yeah, so a lot of different new types of waste streams started evolving. We started setting up supply chains for it. It was exciting times. The entire team got together. We put together a crack team. We saw where are we better at, etc. We started pivoting. So a lot of action in that space. This was just to name a few of them.
Yeah, and last thing, and we won't take more time. Our products team, Tanuja and Asta, so they kind of started making masks. They went to the self-help groups. They connected with them, and we started supplying masks. In the year one, there was masks not so easily available, and these were cloth masks, so which were like reusable. So we started getting revenue from that, and that kind of sustained, because at the time when you're making loss, we needed some revenue and profit rating. Thank you so much for your questions, and really appreciate this.